Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we haven't done this in a while. We actually haven't talked about what cards should get nerfed, what cards will get nerfed. It's one of our favorite things to do. I just want to thank everyone, by the way. The support on the channel has been insane. We hit 36,000 subscribers on the channel, and just want to thank you guys. You keep hitting that sub button. A lot of views lately, a lot of just, you guys always talk in the comments. It's so awesome. And again, I just want to thank you all. But today's video isn't going to be like, these cards should be nerfed right away. I'm not even expecting, honestly, a balance patch before the mini set. There could be a surprise balance patch to like really dial the mini set stuff in or whatever, but I wanted to go over the cards that I feel like have the best chance of getting nerfed in the like near future, whether it's in a patch or two. The cards that are kind of standing out to me is still kind of problematic in my eyes. You may disagree, and of course let me know in the comments below what you disagree with or what cards you like to see get nerfed at some point that I might not mention here, but I just thought I'd go over it, and I'll even talk about a few cards that I could see either getting nerfed or potentially banned in WoW. Not that I think it's very likely, it's probably almost not going to happen at all, but I thought it'd be fun just to speculate on it. So again, before you go crazy saying Zeddy wants everything nerfed and he just wants Chillwind Yetis, I'm just saying that some of these cards feel a little bit problematic, and maybe down the road they'll get nerfed. And I'll mention if it's something that I feel should really get nerfed, like is something more immediate that I feel like are really problematic right now, because there are a few offenders on this list. So starting off, I'm just going to go over the wild cards that I feel like could get like banned or nerfed at some point. First is the Hunter quest, Defend the Dwarven District. It's good in standard. This card's actually pretty good. It's like a tier 2, tier 3 deck in standard, which is acceptable. The inevitability of this quest isn't quite as bad as it is in wild. The damage output isn't quite as much there. There's a lot less burn spells. It's only balanced by the lack of burn spells, to be honest, in standard, but again, maybe they've designed it that way. They got rid of kill command out of the core set and all that. So regardless, but in wild, with the combination of Baku and the twin spell, it's just insane. You combine those two cards with Defend the Dwarven District, you have just 3 damage every turn and basically infinite damage. Like, pretty much nothing can outscale this outside of like Druid, and also with alignment, like to screw with it. That's like the main hard counter to this, or playing like Grizzled Wizard in Finley. It's very meta warping right now. It's definitely tier 1, but it's not quite the Demon Seed level, so I don't expect an actual ban. But say this gets any more support in standard, because it could, then it could really put it over the top and create a real problem where it could become tier S, because this card effectively gives you Raza Anduin in your opening hand every game without even a singleton requirement. You don't have to run a Highlander deck, so the consistency of it is insane. And in wild, again with Baku in particular, it's really scary and very, very powerful. And in the same way, we got Raid the Docks, the warrior quest with all the pirates. Again, is basically at that level where it's borderline like S tier style of deck, where you complete this quest on curve basically every single game because there's so many good cheap pirates. The main thing holding this back in standard is there's not a lot of good cheap pirates. That's literally it. But in wild, where you have patches, you have all these cheap pirates, South Sea deckhands and all of that, it gets done so quickly. And that playing it on curve is just so powerful, because Rikara is just damage upon damage forever and ever. You can't remove it. You can't remove the Juggernaut. So again, it's a card that, like the Demon Seed, if it gets more support, will become even more broken. And I could very well see this getting more support in the mini set. So it's another one to look out for that maybe it gets banned in wild. But again, I'm not calling for these to be banned anytime soon or at all right now, but just look out. There's a very big potential for it. And the last wild card I'll talk about can't get banned, but it could get nerfed, and that's Sorcerer's Apprentice. It really creates a problem still. With Ignite Mage, it's created a problem with Quest Mage, all these different decks. I just feel like we've been talking about this literally for years, to make Sorcerer's Apprentice make spells not cost less than 1. I'll just leave it out there. I feel like that's a change that would just make the game a lot healthier. It would kill Exodia Mage, which would make some people upset, but at the end of the day, I think the health of a format's more important. And as more and more spells are made and more mana cheat options are made, and combine it with Sorcerer's Apprentice, it's only going to become more problematic. And I just would love to see Apprentice get nerfed. I've been complaining about this for years, and I don't think I'm going to drop it anytime soon. So that's the wild stuff. In standard, let's go over a few classes that I see to be problematic. And starting off, we have Druid. The aggro Druid stuff is just, it's just too good in my opinion. Razormane's the big offender in the deck. The win rate on it is borderline like Keleseth levels if you play it on curve, and I just would love to see it change to a battle cry where you can cheat out one taunt, right? You cheat out one. It's the snowball effect of the card that is like ridiculous, right? You play it and you hide it behind a taunt, and then the next turn you get to hide it behind another taunt and another taunt, and like if you don't have that hard removal, you're screwed. You can also just give it taunt itself so it can't hide behind taunts. You do get the problem of it cheating itself out and creating even more broken stuff with Oracle, but overall I just think Razormane at a 2-mana 2/3 with like an infinite snowballing effect, as long as you have a taunt in your hand, is a little bit too good, and I would love to see it just a battle cry. It just makes more sense to me as a battle cry. The other Druid card is Composting. Like, it's just too cheap of card draw. It's just too cheap. Like, you hit 2 minions, that's really good, and when's the last time you saw someone only hit 2 minions? Like, they're hitting 3, 4, 5. That's 2 mana draw 5. That's just way too cheap a card draw. We saw Fungal Fortunes, remember that, was 2 mana draw 3. That was too good, and that even had a condition of needing spells. This just needs some minions to live in a deck that, or in a class that has no problem spamming minions. So Composting, 3, maybe 4 mana, I think you could bump it up, and definitely I think that would be reasonable. And I'll mention one other Druid card just because it just leads to really toxic turns, and that's Lady Anaconda. Again, I'd love to see it be like your nature spells cost 2 less, but not less than 1. That's all I would ask for, because again, with Celestial Alignment, it's so problematic, and if you make it so Anaconda can't bring it down to 0, you can't just Celestial Alignment and go off with Anaconda. I think that would be a lot healthier, because Alignment is just pretty ridiculous on its own. Does it really need this crazy mana cheat engine? And I feel like you have Nourish, you have Lightning Bloom. Is that not enough? Is that not enough? Anaconda's a little bit silly. And then you could do like still the Germination style of stuff. You could have some big turns, but you can't really abuse it with Celestial Alignment. Next class I would take a look at is Rogue. Garrote Rogue in particular is just a really toxic deck. It's only really performing well at high legend, but people are hitting rank 1 legend with it. And historically in Hearthstone land, whenever a deck has a consistent in-hand OTK by like turn 7, 8, 9, like a Patron Warrior, it's been nerfed. And I feel like this deck is kind of like that. It basically auto beats any control deck. It just, you're going to die before you ever hit 10 mana crystals because of cards like, well, the first nerf thing I would do is Efficient Octobot. 2 mana Emperor Thorson. It's just not okay. I've been saying it forever. I feel like Efficient Octobot at 2 mana is egregious. I think it's egregious. It should be at the very least 3. I could argue even 4, but at the very least 3. And this is a card I would love to see nerfed like ASAP. This is one of the cards that I feel like is just problematic. It's just, to me, it's ridiculous. This card at 2 mana is ridiculous. The win rate on it, even on curve, because barely nothing could do 4 damage on curve. It's just crazy. And then you have the whole Garrote combo, which can do like 40, 50 damage with spell damage, and Octobot is the main reason for that, because you get that mass mana cheat for so cheap, for being so flexible, and I just feel like it needs to be dialed back, because like at least at 3 mana, if you Shadow Step it, it doesn't cost 0, right? And that makes a significant change. The other rogue card is Field Contact. It goes in that deck as well. I don't think you would hit both. I think you'd hit one or the other. And my argument for Field Contact, I would make it 4 mana, by the way. I'd make it like a 4 mana 4/3. Doesn't have to keep the stat line, but a 4/3, because Gadgetzan Auctioneer probably shouldn't be 3 mana. But the argument I'll make for it being at 4, which would make rogue deck building a little bit more interesting, is you can't run Kazakus in a Field Contact deck. It's just not auto run Kazakus in every rogue deck until the end of time. I think that would be a lot more interesting. And hey, maybe Scab's Cutterbutter could see some play, because you don't run Kazakus. And oh no, don't tell Nova I said that. But regardless, Field Contact at 4, just, I mean, Auctioneer was nerfed from 5 to 6. Field Contact in a lot of situations is kind of better than a Gadgetzan Auctioneer, and right now it costs 3 mana. So, and well, 2 mana or 1 mana depending on your Octobot. So yeah, I feel like you hit one of those. I don't think you need to hit both, but I really do see one of those cards getting nerfed at some point. And if I had to pick one, it'd be Octobot for sure. Next we have Mage, and you guys know I'm gonna say it, Sorcerer's Gambit, the Mage quest. It's just, it's ridiculous. I know the win rate isn't the best in the world, but it's the most popular deck. It's the most polarizing deck. It auto defeats so many archetypes. It's what Caverns Below did way back in Ungoro. It's frustrating. People hate it. They want it changed. And I feel like you make spell damage +2. You dial back the spell damage +2. And in conjunction with my other suggestion would be to Ignite, where you shuffle like a copy of Ignite into your deck and that's it. It's not infinite. You get maybe, it's like the Roaring Torch type of thing with Forgotten Torch, right? You shuffle another Ignite that maybe does 2 damage more or something, but infinite damage just should not exist. They've talked about how infinite value and stuff is something they want to get away from, right? Why is Ignite a card when, you know, Jade Idol hadn't been repeated forever and then it's brought back in a version you can't interact with and it goes face? I think it's silly. At least Jade Idol, you had to pick between developing a Jade and shuffling it. You got to do both with this card. So Sorcerer's Gambit, Ignite, I just do something about them, please. The community, I think, would be very happy if Quest Mage got changed. There are so many people that just outright despise that archetype and how it just eliminates control from the game. And the last suggestion I will make is the final showdown. OTK Demon Hunter is still very problematic at high ranks. It's for the reasons that they nerfed Il'gynoth originally. It's just, they slowed it down a little. It definitely did slow down with Il'gynoth from 4 to 6. You actually have to complete the quest usually and then go off, but it's still completing the quest and going off. I would just make the quest a little bit harder to complete, have it 5, 5, and 5, and I feel like maybe it slows it down a bit more, see where it goes from there. But overall, those are my suggestions, my thoughts of what could change. Again, I'm not saying outside of like Octobot, that's like really the only one I would love to see change immediately. The wild stuff I would probably, but again, that's just kind of a wish list, but that's what I feel. Let me know what you feel in the comments below. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Stay salty, my friends.